Hello everyone, I'm Soumya Vijay Deshmukh and I'm going to teach a biochemistry chapter called nutrition. This chapter is not just for the sake of writing the exam, but this would help us to enhance the knowledge and to implement it in our lives to even make our health better. So let's begin. Now, what do we mean by nutrition? It is the utilization or the uptake of nutrients by the body. This picture shows different kind of food items that have been contributing towards the nutrients. We have defined. Now let's see the study areas. There are three study areas. First is the ideal nutrition. Second is the undernutrition. Third is overnutrition. I hope you came to know what it means by just listening to the terms. Now, there are two types of nutrients in front of us, and they are micronutrients and macronutrients. Micronutrients are the one which are there in a small quantity in our diet. Just imagine that if you are eating in a plate, so that plate is consisting of which thing in minority and which thing in majority. So the major part or the bulk, keep the keyword bulk, is called a macronutrient, and it consists of carbohydrates, proteins and fat, while the smaller amount is the micronutrients, which are vitamins and mineral. Now let's see the next thing. Essential. Now essential nutrients are the one, as the essential, the word itself is telling us that it is essential for us, we need it. So we will be in the need of something which we don't have. So it means that essential nutrients are the one which is not synthesized by the body but is supplemented through diet. So this is this we intake. Now let's see calorific value. Calorific value is the amount of heat generated due to the oxidation or the combustion of food or nutrients. So this is called calorific value. Now calorific value is having now this is the calorimeter, warm calorimeter. Now calorific value is the having its unit as calorie, right? But and what happens that there is also an alternative unit called joule. So it is like the conversion, you must keep in mind that 1 calorie is 4.2 joule. Always if we are talking about heat, it should be it's a form of energy, so unit should be made about energy itself. Now if they ask what do we mean by 1 calorie, so it should be that amount of heat required for the combustion of 1 gram of water to raise its temperature by 1 degree Celsius. That's what the 1 calorie mean. Now let's see that there are calorific values which are being, as I have shown this to you. This is the calorimeter and it will be helping us to find out the calorie. So this is not something which is inside our body. Okay, this is just a machine instrument to measure it. But what happens for carbohydrates and fats, it is the same, the calculated value in the measuring instrument is the same as that in the body, but because they are 100% oxidized. But in the case of protein, only as it gets converted into ammonia, creatinine, urea, so it is and then it's get excreted out. So the calorimeter would be measuring more as compared to that, and it would be measuring more as compared to that in the body. Thereby the value would be less in actual. Now we need to know the calorific value of some of them. First, let's see of see it's point, sorry, not point, it is 4 for 2 but 9 for one of them. So 4, so 9 is for the fat, clear, and remaining 2 are having 4. So fat is having its calorific value as 9, clear, 9 calorie per gram. Okay, and you said this is what we saw for the macro, but what about the micro? So micronutrients consisting of vitamin and mineral are having its calorific value no calorific value. Okay, because they, although they have like several they have involved in several important body functions for even for the generation of energy, but still there is no calorific value of it. The next area of discussion is respiratory quotient. Now respiratory quotient is defined as the amount of, this is just like the exam in which we write that how much marks you got about upon how much they could have given us, that is the total. So it is just like how much you gave me the carbon dioxide, how much you gave output upon input. Okay, so it is the oxygen, so oxygen volume. Okay, so for some of them, like in the case of fats or also in the case of mixed diet, it is 0.7. For proteins, it's 0.8. And for carbohydrates, it's 1. Clear? So these are the calorific value you need to just keep in mind. Now we have seen that from where we get it, from what is the like calorific value, different types of nutrients. Now let's see what happens from after this we have taken, we got the energy. Where is this used actually? Now let's see the utilization of energy. Now the use of energy is in 3 areas. First of all, it could be used for BMR. Secondly, for SDA, and third, physical exercise activity. Okay, now BMR is basal metabolic rate, SDA is specific dynamic action, and physical activity. Okay, so these 3 are there. Now all these 3 are total, like their summation would be equal to the energy that we have taken in, that is the calorific value, energy available, right? Now we need to start with BMR. Now what is BMR? BMR, as the term is saying, basal metabolic rate. So it is the minimum amount of energy that would be supplied, that would be required to the body for total for complete physical and mental rest. After the post absorptive, in the post absorptive state, there is after, that is the after 12, that is the 12 12 hours after last meal. So again I would say, repeating again, that it is the minimum amount of energy which is required for a complete physical and mental rest after the post absorptive state, that is the 12 hour after eating last meal. So this is generally also nowadays replaced by RMR, resting membrane potential, resting metabolic rate. Clear? Now this BMR, for its calculation, we measurement of BMR, let's see. For this we need to make first of all the subject ready. Subject is the person of whom we are going to take the BMR. So there should be a proper room temperature. We have to see that the person is in its post absorptive state. He or she must be awake. Yeah, all those things. Now the method that is being used for the measurement is called Benedict's and Roth. So by this method we are going to measure heat produced, like it would be heat produced per hour, and it would be depending upon the area. The unit would be calorie per meter square per hour. Clear? Now what next? We came to unit, we came to values also. Now factors affecting, no, values we didn't took, okay, value and then factors. Now the value of the BMR in female is generally 1400 calorie per meter square per hour, but in the case of male it is 1600. Okay, now let's find the factors on which this the BMR depends. First of all, as I already told you, the gender, that is the sex. For female it would be less, for male it would be more. Second, age. As the age increases, the BMR would decrease by 2% per decade of life. Decade, I said, okay. Then cold climate would be having more BMR, leading to more BMR. Then drugs would increase the BMR, except anyone, just use common sense, anesthetics. Clear? Then T3 and T4, which are the hormones of thyroid, would increase the BMR, therefore it's a stimulatory. Clear? Then also there are other hormones like epinephrine and cortisols and all. Now let's see that in fever BMR would increase, in diseased state BMR would increase, except, again exception is that it won't increase if it's Addison's disease. Addison's disease is like due to the problem in the medulla of adrenal gland. Clear? So that is the thing. Now next is uh, now in the starvation, things would just get opposite. During the starvation, uh, mm, like if there is an energy intake, then it would be decreasing the BMR. Clear? Now as the surface area increases, BMR would increase. And am I missing anything? Yeah, most important and my favorite, that in the if there is a physical exercise, then the BMR would increase. Is it all right? Now let's find what is the next point. Importance. Now as we know that BMR, by the BMR we will be getting to know the calorie requirements, so it would be helping us to plan the diet firstly, and second thing is that it would be helping us to assess that how is the thyroid functioning of thyroid gland. So because as T3 and T4 is going to increase the BMR, so thyroid functioning, these are the two major reasons which I find would be important. Now let's find out the second one. First I said BMR, second is SDA, and third one was physical activity. Now SDA is specific dynamic action. Let's see it in detail. So SDA is the amount of it's the extra heat production by the body over and above the calorific value. It's like expenditure to uptake the nutrients. So keep in mind what I said, the extra heat, okay, the extra heat production by the body for which is over and above the calorific value. Yeah, for when the given food is metabolized. So it is also known as thermogenic effect or calorogenic action or thermic action. Now it is the maximum for protein and it's minimum for carbohydrates. Thereby protein, when we consume it in cold, so it gives warmth. Clear? Then comes that in a mixed diet, actually fat is helping in reducing the SDA. So the total the SDA for the mixed diet is 10%. And what is the significance of this? Because the significance is that it is actually helping us to know that it is first of all telling us the importance of protein, and secondly it is helping us to know how much, if you are planning a diet, so how much is being taken by SDA. Like for example, if you want to give the body 1000 calorie, and it's not that 1000 would be burnt, it would be actually burnt 1300 or so. So this 300 extra has to be supplied na. Such a thing is being there. So you got my point. Now one more important thing, that if what we did, we intravenously injected the amino acids, still there was no change in the SDA. But what happened when we did hepatectomy, then it is the removal of liver. Hepatic is liver. Now then it just abolished the SDA. This thing is telling us or leading us towards something that liver is doing some metabolic function of liver, so SDA is connected to it. Now to meet the energy requirement, so what liver is doing for meeting the energy requirement, it is helping in deamination, urea synthesis, biosynthesis of protein, and triacyl glycerol. Clear? So for these functions, the primary requirement of SDA is there. It's not just for the uptake. Okay, this is the most important part, liver metabolism. Now let's see the third thing which we saw. First was the BMR, second is SDA, third is physical activity. Now physical activity are being divided into 3 categories. Now four categories: light activity, moderate activity, heavy activity, very heavy activity. Okay, now it is actually the light activity is being done by a teacher or office worker or doctors. Moderate is done by the students. Heavy is done by the agriculture laborer, and very heavy is done by the whom you just know them. They are the workers at the construction site, how hardworking they are. So yeah, now there is called NEAT, so, or we can say NEPA. So NEAT or NEPA is what? Non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Okay, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, or non exercise physical activity. Clear? Now these are the activities which are not the exercises, but it is we are not doing it consciously, but yeah, like if we are in the office and we are just walking through the staircase, so it is becoming an activity for, and that comes under NEAT or NEPA. Now the daily requirement, energy requirement is being how much? So you need energy for BMR, SDA, and NEAT or NEPA. Clear? Now what is the nutritional importance of carbohydrates? The carbohydrates, as we know, it's the chief source of energy. Now carbohydrates is being utilized by the body is the one category, and the one is which is not utilized by the body. Clear? The one which is utilized, are like sucrose, lactose, galactose, or glucose, or many. But those which are not are like pectin, cellulose, hemicellulose, gum, all those. Clear? But and this, okay, in the one which are utilized, there is starch also. And starch, I would like to tell you that it is the most abundant one in our diet, and because it has a bland taste and also a satiety value is there. Now, what are the functions of carbohydrates? uh, First is that it's a major source of energy, right? Second, this we already knew that obviously it's a good source of energy. That's why we give glucose when someone faints. So that's the reason. Now, second is that it helps to spare the protein, to prevent the uh, protein from being spared. Yeah. uh, like, see what I mean, it spares the protein because first of all, energy source. Secondly, it uh, secondly, what happens whenever there is a requirement for energy, then uh, it won't allow the protein to get deteriorated from the body. It first itself goes whenever there is the need requirement. Only in the very starvation condition or something like that, it may happen about that the protein is being again used if very less fat is there. That is the carb stored form of carbs. Yeah, now the next point comes that they form fat in the when they are stored and are in excess. Third is that they help in the something called oxaloacetic acid. It along with acetyl CoA, it will form citric acid, and this is what in the like we can say that the fat is burning in the fuel of carbohydrate, because oxaloacetic acid is a form of carbohydrate, and this is the cycle of citric acid. Clear? Now it is also helping in the synthesis of pentose. Pentose is used many a times, so pentose formation. And then the non-digestible part of it is used in the used as rough, like, fibers. Clear? They improve the bowel movement and lower the cholesterol absorption and improve the glucose level. Clear? So these are some of the points. It is also required, most important, it's required by the brain. Glucose is required by the brain, and if there is a prolonged hypoglycemia, then it may lead to a permanent damage to the brain. Okay, so these are the importance. So let's now summarize what we did till now. First of all, I told you that nutrition is the uptake of uh, nutrients. Then we came to know the areas are ideal, undernutrition, overnutrition. Macro are the one which are in bulk, that are protein, carbohydrates, fats. Micro are the one which are in the little amount, that is vitamin and mineral. Essential are the one which is not formed by the body but are supplemented by diet. Calorific value is the heat generated due to the combustion or oxidation of nutrients. It is measured by calorie meter, and it has its value with the unit calorie, and at 1 calorie is equal to 4.2 joule. the calorific value for carbohydrates and fats would be same as that of the in the body would be same as that of the calorimeter, while in the case of protein it would be differing. It would be more in the calorimeter as compared to the body, because it is not 100% oxidized. It is having some of the part which is converting into ammonia, urea, and are being excreted. Respiratory quotient, for carbohydrate it's 1, for I for fat it's 0.7, and for mixed diet also it's 0.7, and then for protein it's 0.8. It is the amount of O2 evolved upon amount of CO2 evolved upon amount of O2 inhaled. Now what is the types? Uptake I meant, not inhaled. Okay, and now types of, okay, this I already told. Now use of energy would be in the three things, BMR, SDA, and physical activity. BMR would be body basal metabolic rate, specific dynamic action, and physical activity. Now now BMR is the amount of the heat produced, the amount of energy required by the body for its for complete physical and mental resting state. Now it would be, BMR for female would be 1400, for male it would be 1600. BMR would be measured, first of all make the subject ready, and also then by the help of by the help of which technique? That is the apparatus of Benedict's and Roth. Okay, keep in mind, Benedict's and Roth, we can measure the BMR. Then the unit of BMR is calorie per meter square per hour. Clear? And then the physical activity, it could be divided into, okay, before that, okay, we have also seen the factors affecting SDA. So it was like surface area, as it increases SDA increases, age, as it increases SDA decrease, gender, more for male than female, in cold it increases, in fever it increases, in diseased condition it increases, except in Addison's disease. It increases with thyroxine hormones. It also decreases if in starvation energy intake of energy is there, then it would decrease. Then also it increases with the drugs, except in anesthetics. Okay, then anything I left? Physical activity. Why is that I am forgetting physical activity? Physical activity is would, as it in more physical activity, more would be the BMR. Clear? Sorted. Now let's see ahead. Okay, now BMR, those were the factors of BMR I told na. And then we came to specific dynamic action. Now specific dynamic action is the extra amount of heat generated by the body over and above the calorific value. It is, what is the primary? Actually it is for the metabolism in the liver, for the deamination or biosynthesis of protein, also synthesis of urea, triacylglycerol. So all of these, yeah. Now SDA is the maximum for protein and least for carbohydrates. In mixed diet it's 10%, because of fat fat is reducing it. and this SDA gives a calorigenic or thermogenic effect or thermic action. Clear? Now, physical activity, 3 types: light, moderate, heavy, very heavy. Okay. Now light is for now light, moderate, heavy, very heavy. Now light is for the teachers or the one who are in the office workers. Moderate for the students or housewives. Heavy for the workers in the like some agriculture. Okay, agricultural laborers. And very heavy by the construction worker or the rickshaw pullers. Okay. Now there is, I told you the NEPA, non-exercise physical activity or NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Okay. Now it is actually referring to the energy which is expended all our routine physical activity other than sleeping and actually like sport like exercises. Okay, so energy expended for any other activity other than sleeping and sport like exercises is called NEAT or NEPA. Now general, like in daily energy requirement would be NEPA plus SDA plus BMR. Okay. Now importance of carbohydrate, I told you it's a chief source of energy. 2 types, one is utilized like sucrose, glucose, galactose, lactose, starch, and one which cannot be like gums, cellulose, hemicellulose, pectin. The uses, okay, are the functions are the its main source of energy. It's help in protein spare action because it itself first of all get oxidized before protein and helps the body from getting deteriorated from the protein, prevents it, I mean. Then there is, glucose is required by the brain. It forms fat if it's stored. Then it is helping in that citric acid cycle, because oxaloacetic acid is a carbohydrate which combines with acetyl CoA to form the citric acid. So then it forms pentose, and some non digestible carbohydrates which are fibrous in nature are helping bowel movement, motility, also in lowering the cholesterol absorption, and improving the glucose tolerance. Now let's see what is high fructose corn syrup. Okay. So the high fructose corn syrup is when glucose is getting converted into sucrose, then they have such a composition that there is 1:1 glucose, I mean 50% glucose and 50% sucrose. This is being used in some of the like soft drinks or beverages. So there the sucrose is being replaced by high fructose corn syrup. Now let's see the next point of today's discussion, which is glycemic index. So the glycemic index is the amount of it, the graph like this, the blood glucose graph. So the area under the blood glucose graph after the test meal compared with the area under the test graph after taking the same amount of carbohydrate in the form of glucose multiplied by 100. So this is the glycemic index. It actually measures the blood glucose, time course of postprandial blood glucose concentration. Now, the formula, I want to write it down for you. Area I am talking about blood glucose graph, okay? So this is the formula for glycemic index. Now let's see that we need to now compare the glycemic index. Glycemic index would be for the complex carbohydrate, it would be less as compared to the refined. See, complex is the one like starch or and refined is the simpler form, that is the glucose itself. Now, as I said, that complex carbohydrate requires like it is having low glycemic index, so there would be slow digestion of the complex carbohydrate. It means that lower glucose absorption would be there, thereby, and obviously there is a higher satiety value, so thereby it is being told by the nutritionists that prefer the food with high fiber quantity, high fiber content and low glycemic index for the consumption. Now let's see what next. Now, carbohydrate sources. Sources of carbohydrate are very clear, like sugar. Then what? Rice, cereals. All wheat, jawar, bajra there. Then pulses. Potato tubers, tubers and roots and tubers. Bread. So these are some of the sources of carbohydrates. Now let's see the fibers. Okay. Fibers is actually the complex carbohydrate which is not which we can't digest. So as we don't have the enzyme for it, so like there are two types of fibers. One is the soluble, another is the insoluble. So the soluble one would be surely like they would be getting mixed with in case of water, adding water, they would get mixed with water and form gel. Okay, while insoluble would swell up. Okay, then what is the example of soluble? It is like in the case of fruits and all the kind of peas, which is the legumes, while the insoluble one are the vegetables and grains. was for this. Now fibers, we saw the types, we even saw. Now let's see the benefits of fiber and also the adverse effect. Benefits are many. We know that. Now we know. Before that, I forgot to tell you one thing. Okay, here in the soluble, these are the fruit and legumes are the sources which have soluble fiber. But example is the uh, example is here for insoluble it is cellulose, hemicellulose. While here we have gums, mucilage. Clear? Pectin. So this is the thing. Now, sorry. Now let's understand what is the benefits of fiber. So first is that it decreases the chance of constipation, as it is increasing the bowel movement, motility. Also it is reducing hemorrhoid, chances for hemorrhoid, and diverticulosis. Just keep in mind the names only. Now, actually hemorrhoid is when there is a clot formed, and yeah. Then it helps to it actually it increases the glucose tolerance, as it decreases the glucose absorption. Then it along with glucose, it decreases the cholesterol absorption. How? Because it binds to the bile salt, decreases its circulation in the hepatic system, enterohepatic circulation, and thereby it causes more like degradation of the cholesterol into this bile salt. Clear? And then the disposal, it is disposed by the body. Then it, as anyone can guess this point, that obviously if we are eating fibers now, we will be it is like decreasing the, it has a satiety value, I mean. Because we don't have to eat much more after eating the fibers. Then comes that it helps to eliminate the bacterial toxins in the intestine. So toxin removed. Okay. Then it would be means helping us to keep our digestive system good. So it would be decreasing the chances of GIT tract cancer. Clear? Now there are also some of the adverse effect of fiber. I will be telling, don't worry at all, I will be telling you what actually is happening. First is that it decreases it decreases the digestion and absorption of protein and minerals. While there is another thing that it is as I said that in intestine there is bacteria, so it gets ferment with the bacteria and it causes flatulence. FL, flatulence. So for that, what? Simple, just drink more water along with fiber to just eliminate all these um adverse effect. Clear? Now what's the next thing we need to know? Benefits and adverse effect done. Now fiber sources of fiber, you people only tell me, as we have already seen some of them, like it is like vegetables, fruits, leafy vegetables I mean, then some of the cereals, then rice bran, it is the very good source, and wheat, legumes. Okay, keep this much only for now. Now we will be seeing what is the next thing, that is lipids. Okay, so fatty acid, which is known as the triacyl glycerol. Clear? Now we have to see what is the this thing. First we have to see the in lipids we need to, sorry, I said fatty acid, so sorry, I meant to say lipid. So lipid is called triacyl glycerol. And now the function, where do we find lipid? We know that it first of all supplies triacyl glycerol. Secondly, it is also helping us in the absorption of water insoluble, sorry, which is fat soluble, to provide essential fatty acid plus the fat soluble. Now we know that vitamin B and C are water soluble. The remaining ones, A, D, E, K, all of them are fat soluble. Now there is essential fatty acid. Essential fatty acid cannot be synthesized by our body. We need to take it through diet, and it is the essential fatty acid is actually the it is unsaturated, in we can say PUFA, polyunsaturated fatty acid. Clear? There are two examples. For example, we say, so there are linoleic or linolenic. Clear? Arachidonic fatty acid is also one of the like we can, it is actually it could be synthesized by the linolenic, but we don't know with how extent. So some amount of arachidonic acid is also taken up by the diet. So we can now let's see the functions of essential fatty acid. So first of all, we know that fatty acid is there in the cell membrane. So you know the lipid layer is having such, this is the fatty acid. So it helps to for the structural component of the biological membrane. Then it doesn't allow the much fat to deposit on liver. It prevents its accumulation. Thirdly, it helps in transport and utilization of cholesterol. Then uh, it helps to synthesize prostaglandin. Also, it helps in the proper development and proper growth and development of the reproduction. Okay. Now these are the importance of essential fatty acids. Now let's see what happens if there is a deficiency of essential fatty acids. It actually causes scaly dermatitis on the posterior lateral surface in the lower limbs and the buttock, and it's also called phrynoderma. Or we say taut skin. Yeah. So what are the sources of PUFA? Vegetable oil, fish oil, okay. Now it is said that at least 30 to 50% of the dietary fat which we take should contain it as PUFA, right? Now, but if there is excess PUFA, then it would be causing. Now we saw that in deficiency there is scaly dermatitis, but if it's excess, then it causes more radical. Thereby it causes damage to the cell. Thereby it is said that it should be accompanied by antioxidant like carotene, vitamin E, so that it's not injurious to the cell. What if there is a high ratio of P is polyunsaturated, a fatty acid is to saturated, then it would be decreasing the risk of coronary heart diseases, and also it would it would decrease the risk of coronary heart disease. Now what's the next part we are supposed to know? We saw the essential fatty acids and functions. Deficiency would cause what? Then this also. Now, omega 3 and omega 6. On what basis are we saying it omega 3? Omega 3 fatty acids are the one which have its their double bond at the third position, third carbon and if there is omega 6, then sixth carbon double bond. As I said, it is unsaturated, polyunsaturated. Saturated is single bonded, unsaturated is multiple bonded, like double or triple. Now but I'm saying about double bond. Okay, now what are the examples of omega 3 fatty acid? So it is like DHA, docosahexanoic acid, or EPA, eocosa pentanoic acid, or also what Linolenic acid. Omega 3 is included in the children's um, infants formula to promote the brain development, while omega 6 is, and that thing is also called conditionally essential fatty acid. Now omega 6 is there in arachidonic. Now omega 6 is helping to lower the cholesterol. Also it decreases the triacylglycerol. Thereby it is reducing the risk of coronary heart diseases or tendency of thrombosis. Now this is thereby this is again also a, like this part, that it is decreasing coronary heart diseases, thrombosis. It is thereby called an conditionally essential. Okay. Now there is trans fatty acids. Trans fatty acids are used to increase the shelf life, so that it doesn't get rotten early. It increases the LDL and decreases the HDL. Thereby, it is not good for health at all. It actually possesses the double bond, and it is formed by hydrogenation of vegetable oil, partial hydrogenation of vegetable oil, and to form the double bond. So it should be all not taken in the diet at all, recommended by WHO that to eliminate it completely. And also it actually, as it's decreasing the HDL and increasing LDL, it is promoting heart diseases. Now cholesterol in the nutrition is coming from animal sources. And yeah, now let's find out the nutritional importance of the protein. Protein are formed from amino acids. Clear? Now, starting with the protein, we know that protein is the building block. The structures are being made up of protein. Bodybuilding food is protein. So this important nutrient we are going to study now. What is the function of protein? Protein, as we have seen, we all know the plasma protein. So that is also a protein. So it helps in maintaining osmotic pressure, blood clotting, also defense. Okay. Now apart from that, we know that cell membrane is having protein, so it is helping in forming the structure of the cell. Then okay, then thirdly, it is protein is going to act as a source of energy during starvation. And we all are aware that all the hormones, maximum hormones, enzymes, receptors, and immunoglobulins, all of them are proteinaceous. So the immunoglobulins, hormone, enzyme, all are proteinaceous, right? Now this is what the role is played by the protein. Now what is the next topic for us? That importance is done. Now let's see the what are the essential amino acids. The protein are made up of amino acids, that's clear to all. Now let's see what are the essential amino acid. Now keep for this that I have made a mnemonic that VIP hall में TT टर्म टेस्ट. ओके, तो VIP हॉल में TT. नाउ V फॉर वैलिन, वैलिन, आइसोल्यूसिन, phenylalanine, histidine, arginine, lysine, leucine, methionine, tryptophan, threonine. ठीक है, टायरोसिन नहीं लेना है. Keep in mind there is not tyrosin. T is for threonine and tryptophan. Also many people take this P as proline. No, take it as phenylalanine. For that, keep in mind that we need cleanliness. For cleanliness is essential, na? So cleanliness requires phenyl, thereby phenylalanine. Such simple tricks would help you out. Now, and I would be telling you as we go further, don't worry at all. Now let's see ahead. In this, I would like to tell that these are the essential, but there is an what it is, that there are some semi-essential that lies in this itself. A for here, where is A? Yeah, this one, and H here. Now histidine and arginine, they both are semi-essential amino acids. Clear? Now in these there is something that could be a replaceable. So if we want, we can replace the methionine with cysteine. I would like to take, okay, this could be replaced by cysteine, and also the phenylalanine could be replaced by tyrosin. Clear? This is what is something important to know. Now there are conditionally essential amino acids. In the case of some illness, severe injury, or like wound healing, surgery, body sometimes is not able to form the essential amino acids. Sorry, non-essential amino acids. So thereby we have to get the supplement of the non-essential amino acids. Thereby the non-essential is becoming essential in some of the conditions like healing, injury, or after surgery, all of these cases. Now what is the next topic? Sorry. Yeah, conditionally essential is over. Now nitrogen balance equilibrium and then fudge factor. Okay, nitrogen balance equilibrium says just a simple thing, that whatever the intake protein is there, or the nitrogen is there, it would be equal to what in an equilibrium condition. I'm saying it should be equal to where it can go, as a sweat, as a feces, or as urine. Clear? So these if I is equal to U, F and S, F and U, then it means it is a nitrogen equilibrium condition. But and these things, these are called Raj factor. and if, yeah, now if Raj factor, let's take it as R only. If intake is more than the Raj factor, then it's a positive nitrogen balance. It's very rarely seen, but in the case of like hormone like not corticosteroids, they promote positive nitrogen balance and rarely observe actually. Then if intake is less than the Raj factor, like it is more being getting out as a urine, feces, and the sweat, thereby it is less in the body. See, whenever nitrogen is getting less in the body, we are saying negative, while if it's getting more, then we are saying positive. So now this would be the negative one, and it's very commonly seen if there is a deceased person in the PEM, protein energy malnutrition. So okay, and yeah, so sorry, I meant to say deceased one in positive, by mistake I told you in negative. Deceased one, illness in positive. Okay, also positive for the pregnant woman and growing children, but negative one in the PEM. Okay, which are the kwashiorkor and marasmus, we will be seeing in this chapter itself. Now if there is inadequate dietary intake of even a single amino acid, it would lead to destruction of the tissues or serious illness. There, I mean, if these conditions are there, it's a negative one. Now some hormones are also promoting the negative, which are insulin, sorry, oh gosh, did I, oh gosh, I just really sorry, it's my bad. I said corticosteroid for, I meant to say it was for the negative corticosteroid, and for positive means enhancing, making more nitrogen inside than the loss. So it should be in the case of growth hormone, in the case of insulin, really sorry, and here it's a corticosteroid. This positive one was in the case of pregnant lady, growing children, as the words say, injury, illness. Okay, while this is seen in PEM. Now whatever I have written is the right one, and always follow this. Okay, if I have said just a while before anything wrong, just excuse me, sorry for that. Okay, now let us see what after this Raj factor. Yeah, this diagram is actually very important. Now by this you can understand it easily. We see that it's a overall overview of nitrogen balance, and all the three conditions are given here. Now what happens that if we take, this is the intake, dietary protein is taken in, input is there. Now this input could form feces. It could be expelled out by feces without getting absorbed sometime as well. And also it can go to the amino acid pool by getting absorbed. Then there would be anabolism, which would be converting the amino acid into body protein. Then catabolism, which converts body protein into amino acids. Now this, I'm not saying they will be equally and balanced, I'm not saying, but it varies, but such thing happens. Quantity would vary about how much is anabolized and catabolized. Now, as they enter the amino acid pool, they get excreted out as urea through urine, or also as a sweat through the skin. Clear? And also ammonium ion. So by this, if there is more input, less output, then it would be a positive. While if there is a less input and more output, then it would be negative. And if they both are equal, then it would be neutral. Means it would be a nitrogen balanced equilibrium where intake is equal to the Raj factor. And all of these 1, 2 and 3 are contributing towards the Raj factor. Now it is clear. Now let's see. Okay, wait, what is the next thing? Difference between balance. Different balances I told you. PER. It is protein efficiency ratio. Here itself I would be telling you, protein efficiency ratio is just the gain in body weight upon the protein weight. Then biological value, it is the amount of nitrogen. The nitrogen which is being retained. Nitrogen retained divided by the nitrogen. See, this both would be biological value and nitrogen net protein unit would be having almost similar, but one change which can just change the game, that makes the net protein utilization as more correct, because it is even taking in the formula is in respect to the digestible factor, the amount which is required during the digestion, that is also taken care of. So it is more appropriate one. Thereby, just see, this is also nitrogen retained, but divided by what? This is by nitrogen intake, and this is the biological value is having nitrogen absorbed. This is taking the whole picture in the view, but biological value is not taking the regards for about the used during the digestion process. Now, chemical score, it's just like the glycemic index we have seen. It is the chemical, like it's the limiting amino acid per of the test protein divided by the same amino acid for the egg protein. So the test protein upon the egg protein, right? Multiplied by 100. And also here they both multiply by 100, multiply by 100. Okay. Now let's find out what is the mutual supplementation of protein. Always there is not that there are whole, like all of the amino acids are present. Sometimes they are absent, so we have to balance it. Let's see how it is. Now let's see that, sorry. Now let's see that the RDA, as we know, it is the, sorry, before that, okay. Mutual supplement. Now mutual supplement means that we know that the essential amino acids are not like in the wholesome present in uh, in diet, so we need to get something corresponding to it. We need to make it mutually supplement with something else so that it compensates the amino acid which is not present in that diet. So for example, we can say that in cereals we have, in cereals there is a lack of three till for that you can keep in mind thrill. Okay, so threonine and lysine, so they both are not there in the cereals, and they both are essential amino acids. Thereby, for this we need to use pulses. Pulses are going to compensate it, and thereby we find that in an Indian thali, we find that they Indians eat pulses along with rice. That is the logic behind the going trend from so long, like, yeah. Then comes after the mutual supplement. Now protein, how much protein is required? Protein in the case of adult, it should be 0.8 to 1 kg 1 gram, gram protein per kg of body weight per day. This is the amount of protein that should be taken. Now the in the animal protein is the superior one. Keep in mind, the superior protein is the animal protein, or superior amino acids is the animal, and the superior fatty acid was from the vegetable oil. Clear? Then recommended, see this thing I am actually saying you, so I am stressing so much that keep this thing in mind, that superior protein is animal protein, because I am damn sure you would have to write this in your exam. Now let's see the next thing, RDA and the factors affecting it. RDA is the recommended dietary allowance. This is the amount of the nutrients that are that should be provided in a daily diet for optimum functioning of the body with a good health physically as well as mentally. Now this is not just the minimum amount I am saying the optimum amount that should be taken. And there are certain factors on which it depends, such as gender. In male it should be more than female, except the iron, because in the case of female there is menstruation which causes lack of iron in female. Secondly, age, as the more in during growth period, it should be RDA is more. Now what is the next thing? Balanced diet. balanced diet and then ICMR. So balanced diet is the diet consisting of all different kind of food containing nutrients, starting from the carbohydrate, protein, vitamin, minerals, fats, all of these in a proper proportion to meet the requirement of the body. Now, as I said that ICMR, so it is the Indian Council of Medical Research. This organization has given the proportion, the table also, which is telling us about the how much, what the balanced diet consists of for an adult man. Now, one thing, in vegetarian diet there is sometimes lack of protein, so they should take, vegetarian people should take milk and pulses, right? Now there is some another topic, which is after that, flavor the food. To flavor food we have what? Male lard reaction. It means what? Maillard reaction means to flavor the food. Nowadays, giving flavor to the food is like people don't eat to survive, they to live, they actually live to eat, because they are so fond of the different flavors. So to add flavor we have a Maillard's reaction, which is a non-enzymatic. And this is actually, it is a reaction between amino acids and sugar, which reducing sugar. Now let's see the PEM, which is protein energy malnutrition. There are two cases we will be seeing. First is one is marasmus, and second one is kwashiorkor. Now in PEM we have like in this picture, can you tell me, is it marasmus or kwashiorkor? Obviously we can see what are the symptoms. Let's see. The baby is having edema. It is a swollen part. Okay. There is a moon face. Then also we thereby I think there would be liver also inflamed, and the child is having more carbs, but there is a bit fat but not protein, so less protein. Then uh, there is a discoloration, see here on the, like on the fit, you can see here discoloration is there of the skin. Also the hair is getting what, discoloration of hair also. Now he is not feeling like to eat anything, so apathy is there. There is anemia also. If you see his lips, generally it could be like we find that if lips are more red, like a pink or reddish kind of, then we suggest that he is having more hemoglobin, but we can't find such, thereby anemia is there. So the moon, so again I am repeating, discoloration of hair and skin, edema, moon shaped face, then more carbs is seen, less protein is seen. He is feeling like apathy. Also, diarrhea he is suffering with. So this all are indicating that he is having kwashiorkor. Clear? But if we see this next case, here the child, how is the condition, his how thin and lame he is. Like he feels to be, you can see the ribs even. He doesn't has any kind of like low carbs as well as low protein. And there is a retarded growth. Muscle wastage, obviously you can just see the condition of the child. Anemia is again seen. And weakness he is having. His face tells that he is feeling weakness. And yeah. So there is not edema, I think, yeah. There is no edema anywhere. I can't find any swelling. So right. Now this is the case of marasmus. Both of these are the protein PEM, or we also say PCM these days, like protein calorie malnutrition, or PEM is protein energy malnutrition. Now both in this case, first of all let's see kwashiorkor in detail. In this case, why does it happen? Because that his diet, he should have been given the milk of mother, but it was replaced at the earlier stage only. Might be his mother conceived the second child very early. That's why he wasn't fed properly on mother's milk and was replaced by some more carbohydrate supplement of other food. So this led to less protein and more carbs. While if we see in the case of the marasmus, he was also not given the carbohydrate rich source, so thereby thinning of muscles. Now this marasmus is seen in infants, which means they are less than 1 year, while kwashiorkor is seen between 1 to 5 years. So now let's find some biochemical manifestation regarding the kwashiorkor, that he is having why edema, because there is lack of protein. I said it means there is less albumin. Albumin is responsible for the balance of osmotic pressure, and osmotic pressure went down in the blood vessels, thereby leading to the fluid passes into the interstitial spaces, leading to edema. This reason is clear. Also the liver is there is a fatty liver, right? Fatty liver, that's why I said that the liver is in getting again fatty. Okay, then as diarrhea is there, he has lost all the potassium ions. Clear? He has lost. And there is a disturbance in carbohydrate, protein and fat metabolism. Now if we see how to treat him, so mainly if there is less protein, we have to increase and we have to give a protein rich diet to the child, high protein. And if we talk about marasmus, there is obviously the deficiency of calories, weakens, anemia, Retardation, muscle wasting is also there. Muscle wasting is called emaciation. Okay. Now there is some of the signs or symptoms comparable for the AIDS and cancer with marasmus. So there is undernutrition seen in AIDS and cancer, and this is called cachexia. It is due to loss of body proteins, thereby hypermetabolism, increased metabolic rate, BMR increases. Undernourished is obviously less protein, and thereby this also causes increased metabolism is leading to thermogenesis. Okay. Now nutritional anemias. There are some of the kind of anemias. First is microcytic anemia, which is having the size of RBC. Based upon the size of RBC, it is classified. The size of RBC decreases. It could be due to deficiency of iron, pyridoxine, and copper. Then there is macrocytic. If there is more huge size of RBC and less folic acid and B12. Then there is normocytic, where the size of RBC is alright, but the number is less in number of RBC. But okay, fine. Now let's find about obesity. Obesity is so common in today's world. In fact, it is found even more than marasmus and kwashiorkor. Abnormal increase in the body weight, which is very excessive fat deposit, is called obesity. It could be found out by BMI, body mass index, which is having the formula that the weight in kg divided by the height in meter. So this by this we can decode the BMI, and if the BMI lies in the range of 18.5 to 25, then it's a healthy. But in the case of obesity, it is more than 25 to 30, then it is a overweight. Thereby it is a grade 1. If more than 30, then it's grade 2. It's called clinical. But if it's grade 3, then it's more than 40. Thereby it is given a name called morbid. So these are the types. Now nowadays actually the ratio of waist and buttock is being used. If the ratio is low, then it means it is more healthy. There is low risk of health complications. Now what are the first of the main cause of obesity is lack of physical exercise, and sedentary lifestyle. This is becoming a very common nowadays. If there is 7 calorie, it leads to increase in 1 gram of the weight. 1 gram fat deposit. Clear? Now, if there is body weight due to the fat exceeds more than 25% of body weight, like 20 in the case of male and 25% in the case of female, then we say it's an obesity. Keep this criteria. What I said, that if the fat exceeds more than, in female, the weight due to fat exceeds more than 25%, then there is obesity. But in the case of male, if it exceeds just 20%, then it's obesity. Clear? Now let's see other causes of obesity other than physical activity. Then there is PCOD, polycystic ovarian disorder or syndrome. Okay, this is again prevalent nowadays. Hypothyroidism. In hyper BMR increases, weight decreases. Hypothyroidism, BMR decreases, weight increases. Cushing syndrome. Then there are some of the medications which cause it, like oral contraceptives and also corticosteroids. I had said that corticosteroid was there in negative nitrogen balance, okay, and I am saying now corticosteroid is therein responsible for obesity. Now let's see what is the genetic relation of obesity and leptin also. Now genetically if I speak, then obesity has a gene called OB gene present in the white adipose tissue, which releases leptin and leptin and it is associated with obesity. Leptin is a body weight regulating hormone, and it binds with the receptor present in the brain, and it functions as lipostat. Okay, now when fat is stored in the adipose tissue in a adequate amount, then lipostat increases, leptin level increases, and leptin would stimulate lipolysis and inhibit lipogenesis. So leptin is important. Okay, any genetic disorder defect would lead to then obesity and overeating. So there should be a proper regulation of gene. Now let's see what is the obesity and adipose tissue relation. Now in obesity there is increase in both the number and the size of adipocytes. There are two types of adipocytes. Brown and white. Now the brown adipocyte is having more metabolism and less fat storage, low fat and more metabolism. White is having more fat and less metabolism. Actually the brown adipose tissue is generally found in the hibernating animals, also in the newborn babies, and in the adult there is in the thoracic region, but not in large amount, and it varies. So this is the thing. And in obese person, there is like, there is almost no brown adipose tissue. Now adipose tissue, in the case of brown adipose tissue, there is a high mitochondria and cytochrome. Thereby there is high oxidation of the fat and glucose, leading to thermogenic effect. But keep in mind that the peculiarity of the mitochondria is that the oxidation of glucose and fat and their phosphorylation are not coupled. Thereby there is less ATP formation, while there is a heat energy formed is in the form of heat, it is released. Yeah. So now, if there is a obese person, then what is its treatment? So there is a drug called Olestra. Olestra is the drug for the obesity. Give Olestra to those who have obesity. O for obesity, O for Olestra. Now, there is a metabolic syndrome which is just going and going in every third house in the row. So metabolic syndrome, it is having many components, like it could be in a person with diabetes, hypertension, obesity, having sedentary lifestyle, or dyslipidemia. So these are some of the components. Now WHO has categorized two things. First of all, it should be insulin resistant, that who should have more blood glucose level after the elevated fasting blood glucose level. So diabetes of what? Type 2 diabetes. And second parameter is that he or she could have dyslipidemia, or high blood pressure, that is hypertension, or obesity. How obesity? If the BMI is more than 25. So these are the things, and it could be like any two of the second parameter. This should be compulsory, and among these three there should be any two, so that we keep the person in the category of metabolic syndrome. Now the thing is, there is one more thing called, I just said that there is a cachexia. So there is, I have told you in this in the marasmus, right? So here there is failure to maintain lipid storage and more mobilization of the lipid. Thereby there is a category called anorexia nervosa. In that case it occurs. So it is actually a psychiatric disease. Now there are some therapeutic drugs, therapeutic diets in which, like, we are using, it is a bit not good in taste, so it is not palatable, but yeah, it is sometimes used, like if there is a post-operative patient, then he should be given a liquid diet. If there is a hypertension patient, then he should be given low sodium diet. If there is a person with constipation, then he should be given a high fiber diet. Also for diabetes mellitus and coronary heart diseases, also for them. If there is a patient with hepatic encephalopathy, then there should be low protein. Clear? So these are some of the things. Also for if there is a patient with malabsorption, then there should be low fat diet. Then comes the Atkins disease. What I'm saying, Atkins diet, I meant to say. Atkins diet is having more protein and fat. Why it is such? Because fat would be having a satiety value, which would be like quenching the hunger of the person. By the help of fat, this would be accomplished, while with the protein would be the bodybuilding and low carbs. So this would be helpful for obese people. Now let's find the nutritional status and clinical practice. Now in the nutrition status and clinical practice, we find that some of the peculiar things, like in vitamin A should be reduced in the old age, elderly people. Why? To avoid toxicity. Then comes that in some diseases like kidney and liver diseases, there should be more folic acid, B12 and vitamin D intake. And many more things are there. Actually, based upon the physiology, sex, age, there is different like requirements of each age group and all of them. So that's what the it is designed for. Like the growing stage would require this specific nutrients more in amount, while pregnant lady would require this, and so on. Now if we see, there is a nutrigenomics. Nutrigenomics, it has 3 areas. It is the new field in nutrition. It has 3 areas. First is nutritional genetics. Then second is nutritional nutritional epigenetics. Then third is nutritional transcriptomics. Okay. Now nutritional genetics deals with that expression of gene would alter the nutrient requirement intake. Epigenetic would it is that the intake of the nutrients would cause some changes in the DNA. And third is transcriptomics, which would means the effect of the gene expression. There is the nutrients cause effect on the gene expression. Okay. So this is all about this chapter, and I hope it was quite clear to you. So thank you so much for watching this video, and please like, share and subscribe.